The origin of port and starboard. If you've ever found yourself wondering why port and starboard indicate the left and right side of a ship, well, wonder no more. Starboard is referencing the old practice of having a steering oar on one side of the ship rather than a centrally placed rudder. This was basically just a modified oar generally attached in a vertical attitude to the right side of the ship near the back, with the right side thought to have been chosen simply because most people are right-handed. As to the name itself, starboard, this comes from the Anglo-Saxon name for the side steering oar, steerboard, which literally means the side on which a vessel is steered. The fact that the rudder was orientated this way gave a very convenient and completely unconfusing word for sailors, without any mental gymnastics to know which side of the ship was being referenced. It's just the side the steering oar is on. As for port, the original name of the left side of the ship was not port, but rather the Old English backboard. This was probably referencing the fact that on larger boats the helmsman would often have to hold the steering oar with both hands so that his back would be to the left side of the ship. After backboard came ladderboard, meaning laden, meaning to load, and board, meaning ship's side. This gave rise to the starboard rhyming word larboard in the 16th century, just meaning the side of the ship that faced the dock or shore. This was the opposite side as the steering oar to minimize chance of damaging the oar, as well as to make it easier to load and unload without the steering oar in the way. Port also popped up in the 16th century, with the origin similar to why the left side of the ship was called larboard. When you docked or moored a ship with the rudder affixed to the right side, it was always done with the left side of the boat facing the harbour or dock. Presumably the fact that port and larboard first popped up around the 16th century is no coincidence. Once larboard was slurred to larboard to rhyme with starboard, a problem was introduced with the words sounding so similar. There was now a good chance of people mishearing which direction was given, particularly in stormy settings or in a battle or the like. With the similarly meaning port, there was no such confusion. Around the early to mid-19th century, port popularly replaced larboard for this reason. At first, many just made the switch on their own, but in 1844, the change from larboard to port was made official in the British Navy and 2 years later in the US Navy, and has pretty much become ubiquitous since. Bonus fact: somewhat confusingly, depending on your frame of reference, on many boats until the 1930s, when someone said something like hard to starboard, the helmsman would understand that to mean to turn the ship to the left, port, rather than starboard. Why? Because for a time the standard was to go by the tiller direction, or the bottom of the wheel if there was one, rather than the way the ship will go. Thus, if you wanted the ship to turn to port, you'd move the tiller to starboard, or turn the wheel such that the bottom of the wheel's turn direction goes to starboard. A famous example of where you can see this is in some depictions of the Titanic wreck, where First Officer William Murdoch gives a hard to starboard command and the ship then turns to port. This was not a mistake. The helmsman did exactly as he should have when the order was given. Be sure to subscribe to TodayIFoundOut.com's YouTube channel for more great videos like this, and if you enjoyed this video, please like it below. Thanks for watching.